What is up, everybody? My name is Ethan Newberry, and I'm joined by the beautiful and lovely...
Mile Long Legs, or Kim.
or Kimberly Tashima. We are coming to you on location. We're in the middle of our road trip back from doing the Big Sur Marathon this weekend. So today's episode is all about the Big Sur Marathon and what it was like, and a bit of a race recap. So welcome to Ginger Runner Live, episode number 12, From the Road. It's an adventure. Let's hope that this video and audio signal is okay, because if it's not, that would suck. We've been driving all day. We hope it's working. Welcome to the show. Let's begin. Ginger Runner. Yay! We just shake this. What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. I apologize for the 2-hour delay. Because we're traveling from Big Sur today, Carmel, Monterey area, Chris Ham in the chat already says 2 pixels, which means you guys must be really enjoying the video signal. Must be just killing it right now. Basically, we were up in Big Sur this morning. We had to drive southbound towards LA, but we wanted to also kind of enjoy some of the sights. I wanted to get some footage because I am editing together a video for this race. So we took, I don't want to say we took our time, but it took longer than we expected to get down to where we are now, which is Solvang wine country. And this is beautiful here. So we wanted to stay the night here, and our hotel has Wi-Fi.
Yay.
We just hope it hangs out long enough for us to do this show. So let's first things first, welcome everyone to the chat room. Those of you who've been hanging out for 2 hours waiting for the show to start, you're the best.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, those of you guys who tuned in at 6 p.m. and then left, came back 2 hours later, thanks. I was waiting for Kim to fill in the blank.
I'm waiting for my beer.
Okay. First things first, we're going to be drinking some beers tonight because we earned it. We had a race this weekend, and we both did well. Go ahead and pause the video stream because it's going to suck the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we both did really, really well. We'll talk about exactly how and why in just a couple of minutes. Pop your beers open, guys, unless it's, I know for the East Coast it's now 11 p.m.
Late.
11 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. For those of you who are across the sea, I know some of you might be waking up, so maybe it's too early for a beer. I don't know.
Is that a thing?
I don't know. Is that a thing? People waking up?
Too early for beer.
Oh, no, I don't know if that's a thing. Let's do this. Which one do you want?
I want
You
this
want that
one here.
Okay. So I will be drinking an Anchor Saison from Anchor. I believe it's Anchor Steam Brewery up in San Francisco. Really excited. This one I had yesterday and it was really good. Kim, what are you drinking?
A Bavarian Hefeweizen.
From I'm guessing Trader Joe's. Joseph's Brau. This is a Trader Joe's brand beer, but it's the Hefe.
San
It's
Jose,
really
California.
good. Yeah, it's really good. Let's pop these bad boys open. You know what? That was rude of me. I should open up the ladies first. That's how it's done. Ladies are always first.
But you remember after.
But I remember after I do it. But we shall cheers.
Cheers.
Congratulations to both of us. Yeah, that's exactly what I remember it tasting like from yesterday. It's really good. What are you guys drinking? Let us know in the chat room. And who raced this weekend? While we're kind of talking about the Big Sur Marathon, as we know, the chat room is a little bit delayed. I believe 2 minutes delayed. Who ran this weekend, and how was it? Did you guys run a marathon, half marathon, 10K, 5K, ultra? I know there was a local Southern California ultra marathon this weekend, Leona Divide, which was my first 50-miler last year. You were there.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, really hot, but it was a beautiful race, and that was this last weekend. So those of you who ran that, maybe some of you guys are watching live, that'd be rad-tastic.
It was also the Vancouver Sun Run this weekend, which is I think Northern America's largest 10K.
How many people go run that? You said
the number is like way up there, 50,000 or
50,
something.
50,000 people or something. I've heard those numbers as well. That's nuts. To have that many people on a course, a 10K.
Yeah.
Short. I don't want to say short. Some of you might be running 10Ks and not think that's short. It's not. But to have 50,000 people on that
come to
course,
our city, it's pretty crazy.
That is nuts. That is nuts. Okay, in the chat room. For me, it's Angry Orchard Hard Cider, David. Not bad. That's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm staying past my bedtime for you, says Chris Ham. Thank you, my friend.
Chris.
Appreciate it. Running Cat Kyle Roy says, I see bottle caps. if you go to the Boston Marathon next year, I really want to meet you. You're really cool. Thanks, James. Appreciate it. Hopefully, we both want to qualify, yep. And we know it's really tough. It might be on my radar. We'll talk about that in a second.
It'll be on my radar in the next couple of years.
I think you'll do it. Let's get ready to rumble. So, Sam, let's do this. Fingers, toes, and crossed. Yeah, we are in the show. Just catching up here, guys. No drinking alone. Enjoying a peach ale from Four Peaks Brewery here in Phoenix, says Mike. Nice.
That sounds tasty.
That does. Goo brew, says Lindsay. Delicious.
I had so much goo yesterday. Yeah. I think I need to take a couple days off.
This happens after every major race, especially a marathon or even an ultra. You just never want to eat the food you would eat during a race ever again. Like, oh, no more goos. Oh, no more, what was I, like Tailwind. I do Tailwind now. And just the taste of it after a long race, you're like, I don't think I could ever taste anything lemon lime again. Just can't do it. Miller Lite. Nice. And Amanda said she ran an 8K race. Very good.
Awesome.
Congratulations. I said let's talk about the Big Sur Marathon.
Sure. And, I mean, we actually met a lot of you guys on the course or in random tourist spots. So it was kind of cool to actually see a lot of you this weekend, too.
Yeah, we both got recognized along the course, which is cool. I love it. I think it's awesome because it blows my mind that people from around the world are watching videos that I'm posting to Ginger Runner. It just blows my mind. Yeah, a number of people out there yesterday were not from California. We're not from the United States.
Yeah, well, one of the people that I met today in a random pullout was one of somebody that's been a fan of my page for a long time from New Zealand. So there's people from everywhere.
That's so wild. So yeah, we appreciate it, guys. We think it's really, really awesome. Yesterday was just great. So the race is called the Big Sur Marathon, in case you didn't know. It is by far one of the most spectacular scenic road marathons you will ever run. We had friends that joined us. Actually, it was all this kind of big group. I don't want to say that they joined us or we joined them. We all agreed that we would go up and
we were all there.
We were all there. It was a thing. Good friend Colin Cooley, his wife Kristen. Colin's part of the SoCal run crew that I run with. Dave Daly, also part of the SoCal run crew. Joe McGee, also a Southern California runner. And Dave's wife Margie was also there. She did not run. She took care of the youngins. But we were all up there running this race, and pretty much the consensus at the end of the race was, yeah, that was pretty much the most beautiful road marathon you'll ever run. Pretty much. It's
gorgeous there. I mean, I chose it as my very first full marathon 2 years ago. And
lean closer to me, babe.
Oh.
Yeah, let that dangle, because otherwise it's going to rub on your scarf.
Sorry.
It's the microphone. Sorry, guys.
I chose it a couple years ago as my very first full marathon, and although I felt awful the whole time, it was still amazing and beautiful, and it was even more so this time, I guess.
2 years ago, right?
Yeah. 2 years ago, 2012.
Yeah. Picture this. For those of you who don't live in California, have never been to California, or have never been down to the Big Sur area, Big Sur, Carmel, Monterey, there's a highway. It's a 2-lane highway. It's called Highway 1. It runs the entire coast of California. It actually runs all the way up through Oregon and Washington as well. But it runs most of the coast of California. There's a big chunk called the Lost Coast, which it does not go near. But so this area in Big Sur, Carmel, Monterey, the highway is literally on a cliff running the entire length, north to south. So on one side you have mountains, huge rolling mountains, forests, cliff sides, and then on the left-hand side it's drop-offs right into the ocean, or rolling plains just right into the ocean. So you run this. They shut down the whole road, and you run 26.2 miles. The finish line is in Carmel. So at the very beginning, they bus you from Carmel 26.2 miles out to a place called Big Sur Station. It's like a little ranger, like a park ranger station. There's a big parking lot. I believe there's some hiking trails there too. I mean, just standing at the start line, you look up the mountains and you see these zigzagging trails that go up the side. You're like, I kind of want to go do those, like turn around and run up the mountains. But it starts at Big Sur Station.
In the woods.
In the woods. So that's what's cool. You start the race in the woods at the top of a hill. The first 5 miles are pretty much downhill, rolling downhill. Like you'll go down, you'll go back up, and you go down. redwoods on either side of you, lush
beautiful
green forests, and it's amazing because I try not to run with music. I have headphones in pretty much all the time for races, whether it's a marathon or an ultra, just in case there's that mile where like, I just need to drown out the pain with some music. But running these first 5 miles is some of the most peaceful running you'll do. All you hear is the sound of thousands of footsteps echoing through the forest, and the morning birds chirping, and the mist rolling through, and it's poetic. It's amazing. So we all get up early, really early.
Very 3 a.m.
3 a.m. to get bussed out to the start. So we caught our bus at 4 a.m. You get bussed out, get there at 5. Takes an hour. I don't know why. Then you out until 6:45, which is the start time. So there was a threat of rain.
Mm-hmm. We actually thought it was going to rain all week long.
Mm-hmm.
We got rain the day before.
Day before we left.
That's right. So 2 days Friday, before the race.
Got some rain. Then Saturday was beautiful. We drove up Saturday morning. We were like, I hope this weather hangs out for another day. We wake up Sunday morning and there was no rain. There was supposed to be rain. It was supposed to be like 40%
clear.
chance.
We could see stars when we woke up.
That was awesome. Riding the bus out to the start line, I'm looking out the window and I just see shooting stars in the sky. It's really just one of those magical moments.
Audio?
Oh, it's someone. Oh, that's right. These headphones. Someone just said that the video is, or the audio sounds like auto-tune. Let me go grab another set of headphones real quick. It has a better microphone. Stand by. Want to entertain them? Or read comments?
Yeah. Just going through the chat room right now.
All right, guys. Let's try again. I'm trying a different set of headphones. Oh. Clicking in. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How is this? Is this any better, guys? Let us know. We're going to continue with these set of headphones. A little bit different. I think I actually used these other headphones as a microphone before, and they totally failed. So I apologize if you guys were listening to some really shitty audio. It's never fun. God bless everybody and these headphones. I don't know where that came from. I don't know why that's happening. It's the beard's already talking. Okay, so anyways, we're at the start line. It's 4:35 in the morning. It's beautiful. We're running. The first, do you want to describe your race experience first, or would you like, do you want to do yours?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I can give you the kind of the quick and dirty version. So I kind of went into this race. I've been working with a coach for the last 2 months, just working on speed and hills and that kind of thing, getting there. So I kind of went into this race just maybe 2 weeks shy of actually being trained. I want to do it anyways. So
You finished.
I did finish
the first time, but you were not happy.
I literally finished 9 minutes short of the 6-hour cutoff the first time.
Yeah, this marathon has a 6-hour cutoff. The first time Kim ran it, you were...
I was like 5:50 something. I had a lot of issues going into it.
2 injuries.
I just
barely any training.
I had a car accident in February, so I was in a car accident 2 months prior. I had knee issues. Ethan had to tape my knee in place that morning.
She was just in shambles.
Yeah.
And a part of me just wanted to tell her not to run, but you can't tell this girl not to do something. She's just going to do it anyways.
So I kind of went into this race with a totally different mindset than I did the year before. I was very nervous still because I was doing my best not to put on expectations to myself, but, you know, it's hard to shut that down.
Yeah.
So the morning of, we were waiting at the start line. They break you up into 3 different corrals. So I got into the front of the 3rd corral.
It's pretty lax. It's just, hey, if you run this type of marathon, you're in wave 3. If you run this speed, you're wave 2. There's no people checking bibs or any of that kind of stuff.
It's just kind of honor system.
Yeah.
So that's where I started the race, and it was kind of cool because it's a fairly small race. I think is it 4,500? Do you know how many people are in the race?
5,000, I think, in the marathon, but there's a marathon, there's a 21.6 miler, there's a 10.6, a 9, a 7, there's a relay, tons of races. So there's lots of people. I think total there's 7,000 people. I think. Yeah.
So for our particular race, it's on a small scale for most road marathons. So I lined up at the very start of my third corral. So when we got to the start, we were waiting at the start line, and something kind of cool happened. We got to watch Dean Karnazes, who is doing finish to start, start to finish.
Doing a double.
Mm-hmm. So we got to actually watch him come to the start line, turn around, and start heading back out. So that was kind of cool. And yeah, so that was the start of the race. I kind of went out I had a plan in mind. I had kind of my race pace set for me. I knew what to expect because I had done this race before. The first 3 or 4 miles was really unique for me because I am a slower runner, but I was at the start of the third wave, so I had the unique experience of being one of the lead runners in the pack for the first few miles, which was kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know, the race itself, do you want me to go through my whole race, or do you want me to just...
Describe your race experience.
For me, it was a totally different experience going back here 2 years later. I was just better trained. I felt better. I had a better plan in mind. I felt really well throughout the first, 6-8 miles.
Let's preface this by saying this is not your A race this year.
This is not my A race this year. I don't think many people pick this as their A race. Like it's not a PR race.
No, this is not a PR course. There's over 2,000 feet of elevation change on this road marathon. You came into this race, you did your first 20-miler last weekend.
Right.
Because this is a part of your training for your A race, which is San Francisco.
San Francisco at the end of July.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So this race to you was more like just a big speed bump in a longer training cycle. However, right. I will tell you guys out there, you were still pretty terrified.
I was very anxious, very nervous.
Just because you had done a 20-miler the week before, you weren't sure if that was good. Her coach has told her to do this. It's not like she was just like, I'm going to do a 20-miler and I'll be fine. Her coach has her on this plan that is awesome with San Francisco as a race. So in this particular race, you just were going into it like, let's just hope to finish and have a good time and enjoy it. And
my goal for this race was to finish feeling healthy and feeling happy about what I had done. So that was kind of my goal.
Yeah.
So I was kind of staying on pace the whole day, and for me, it was kind of gearing up to Prospect. I keep calling it Prospect Point. Like reflecting back to Vancouver. I don't know why I keep doing
Hurricane Point.
Hurricane Point, which is the big hill of the race. Mm-hmm. It's about 2 miles long, and I think 560 feet up.
525 or 550 feet of ascent. I always say ascent, but I like to say the word ass. Ascent. 500 feet of ascent over the course of 2 miles. And it's windy.
It's a big hill.
Day it wasn't. It's a big hill, and it is daunting because you see it from miles away. Because you're running along the coast, and up ahead, a couple of miles, is this ridge, and you just see the road going straight up the ridge. You're like, I'm gonna have to run those 2 miles, and that is about a mile away, and I hurt right now.
And like for us, like our group of runners, we could see all of wave 2 already way up at the top of it. So it's kind of it's daunting, and mentally it's hard to take because you have so far to go still, and there's people already at the top. And anyway, so going into it, that was kind of getting up that hill was one of my personal mini goals, because 2 years prior, I had literally walked almost the entire 2 miles.
Yeah.
And I was very unhappy.
Yeah.
For the whole 2 miles.
Yeah. But you did it. You ran this one.
I did. And so this one was kind of interesting because I went into it with a little bit of hill training this time, and it just felt good. It felt good. It was feelings that I hadn't had in a road marathon before.
And you called me at mile 22.
So mile 22 is one of the time cutoffs. So if you don't get to mile 22 by noon, which is a 5-hour cutoff, I think.
5-hour, 15-minute cutoff.
They start scooping people up off the course. So when I did it 2 years ago, I was in such bad shape, and literally at the very end of the pack, in behind me, I could see the bus pulling people off the course. So it was a horrible, horrible experience. So at mile 22, when I got there, I had called Ethan because I knew that number one, that he would be done by that point.
Hopefully. Yeah, so she called me. I answered the phone. She's like, I'm at mile 22. I was like, holy shit. That means you're doing great. I was like, yeah, you know, I'm cramping. I feel it hurts. It sucks. It sucks. I'm like, okay, I'm coming to get you. She's like, hurry. You were in pain.
I was in pain, yeah.
You were happy. I could tell on the phone that she was pretty stoked enough, which is awesome.
I think, you know, most people that do a race like that, they're going to be in some sort of pain at that point of the race.
Yeah.
So,
oh, yeah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're an ultra runner or whatever. You're going to be in pain at the end of a marathon. It's relentless. It hurts.
So at that point, I had 4.2 miles to go, and those last 4.2 miles seemed to take forever.
Mm-hmm.
I got to mile 25, and I had the dreaded calf cramp happen to the point where I actually almost bit it hard. So I actually ended up popping off the course on one foot. There's a trailer there that is able to stretch out and stretch my calf and recover. Good. And then I just carried on, and I think I met you...
Mile 24 and a half.
25 and a half, I think.
25?
Yeah,
no, I ran... Maybe it was 25 and a half. Yeah. I didn't end up running too much further back. I was having some nausea. Mm. So I was hoping to add some miles just for training at the end of the marathon to really, like, add miles through pain and suffering, and hopefully, you know, have that be something that helps me down the road. But I wasn't feeling too hot. It was pretty warm.
It was definitely warm by that point.
But this is the best part.
So at that point, Ethan snagged me, and we kind of I hobbled and ran, and I finished the course. I finished strong. Kind of gave it my all through the chute.
How strong? How strong?
So strong you couldn't keep up with me.
I couldn't keep up with her. And how else? How strong?
How strong?
You I don't want to have to tell everyone. This is your moment.
I course PR'd and I full marathon PR'd.
Full marathon PR, not just a course PR.
It was
how much?
Full marathon PR by 33 minutes.
What? What?
Which
that's awesome.
I mean, it wasn't. I shouldn't say it wasn't in my mind.
She earned the Big Sur Marathon Medal of Magic.
Actually, stopped to get my medal this year.
Yeah.
I think
the last time she just was like in the chute and out. Didn't even get a photo. Oh, I can't with the headphones, but look at that. Well done.
So it was a good day. I mean, to be honest with you, that's my first full marathon experience that I've...
I'm sorry, I burped and it smells.
Hmm.
Yep, enjoy that. So about your best experience?
You burping right now was the best part of my full marathon.
The chat room hasn't uploaded or updated in minutes. The last thing we have is from Go Eaters. It says the Malibu Marathon is a Southern California version. The second half of Malibu doesn't quite compare to Big Sur, but it is pretty nice for Southern California coast run. So if there's been stuff in the chat room, I'm going to refresh. Keep talking. Sorry.
So as I was saying, that was kind of the first time I finished a full marathon and actually felt good and felt happy.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's knocking.
Yeah, someone's on the door. Go ahead. Someone's knocking on our door. We may be being too loud. Who knows? We weren't being too loud. They gave us a buffet card. That was nice of them. Sorry, this is just a buffet card? Okay, great. I was worried that we were being too loud, like yelling into the wall.
He was so polite.
He was very polite.
And like really terrified looking.
Live. Fuck that guy. Is that the guy with the ponytail?
No.
Oh, because there's a guy downstairs in the lobby that has like a Steven Seagal ponytail.
Oh, I missed that.
Oh, yeah. He's got like a full arm sleeve cover, which means he has tats all the way down.
See what he's doing later.
Come on. Come on. All right, good. So we do have the chat room has been updated a little bit here. Sorry, guys. Awesome. Woohoo! Congrats. Despite the suffering, I pushed forward. Ginger Boy from his video North Face Endurance Challenge Championship 50-mile race. Oh, yeah. For sure.
I'll tell you, I mean, there was times that I was running yesterday where I was like in pain and just not feeling that great, and it was uphill, and I kept thinking to myself, you know, oh, I want to take a walk break, and my thing was, why do you need to take a walk break? Like, what is preventing you from running? What is preventing you from pushing right now? And I just couldn't come up with a legit answer. So,
yeah,
onward and upward.
They say that if you're walking and you're in pain, Or if you're running it and you're in pain, and then you walk and you're still in the same pain, what's the point of walking? Why not run?
You're literally doing more damage and more hurt to your body by staying out there longer.
By staying out there longer.
Bottom line.
Cheers.
Good day.
Good job for you.
PR.
PR, course PR, everything. All very good. And you're walking around great today. I mean, sore.
Yeah, I mean,
sore after marathon, but you're great.
No worse off than I was after my 20-miler last week.
Yeah. Okay, so my marathon experience very similar from the beginning. You start out in the middle of the woods. It's great. The first 5 miles, you're just enjoying it. You are enjoying the shit out of the scenery in the woods and the redwoods and everything. Then you bust out into these open fields, open plains. You can begin to see the ocean out in the distance. I remember 2 years ago, this part was extremely windy. The second you get out of the woods, it's all of a sudden 20-mile-per-hour winds, 30-mile-per-hour winds, straight at you. And it was miserable. Yesterday, beautiful.
I don't know what happened yesterday with the weather.
Beautiful. It was like spot on. Overcast pretty much the whole morning for the most part. Once the race started, it was pretty overcast, but it was perfectly warm. Like it was 50, 60 degrees. There wasn't rain. There wasn't moisture. There wasn't a lot of wind. It was great. Sorry, I'm blowing it this way. At that point, Dean had caught up with our group, Dean Karnazes, and I was filming with my GoPro. And I will be honest, I feel sometimes a little awkward pulling, like in a big road marathon, there's a lot of people around you, and I have an extendable stick, a GoPro stick, and you pull it out and you extend it and you're filming yourself or you're filming ahead of you or behind you. You can't help but feel a little self-conscious. So I'm filming and he runs up behind me. He's like, "Oh, well, that's kind of a cool contraption." I don't mean to make him sound like an old grandpa. Oh, look at this. Is that a GoPro?
Did he call you Sonny? Sonny boy?
Yeah, I'm drinking iced tea on it. And now he's like James Cagney. No, so he comes up behind me and he starts talking to me about the GoPro, and I tell him a little bit, I'm filming this, I like to edit the races, and he's like, "You know what, I'd really like someone to go to these marathons and film these marathons and edit them and let me know, so if people ask me, oh, how's the New York Marathon, I can just say, oh, go check out this video." And I told him, I'm like, well, that's kind of what I do. This is what I want my job to be like. This is what I want to do. I want to go to these marathons, film them, and let people know what they are, or ultra marathons or trail races, and show people these amazing places on the planet. He's like, "Oh, that's cool. There's people that make a living doing that now." I was like, that's kind of what I am working towards. Doing this on YouTube and making money. That's me. He's like, "Oh wow, do you edit all your own videos?" I'm like, "Yeah, I edit all my own videos." He's like, "Oh, that's crazy. Where can I go watch your videos?" I'm like, "Oh, it's actually youtube.com/The Ginger Runner." He goes, "The Ginger Runner? Why the Ginger Runner?" I said, "Because I have red hair." And he goes, "Yeah, but why the Ginger Runner?" I'm like, "Because being ginger means you have red hair." I forget it. You're drunk. You just get to the point when you're like, I don't know how to explain to you the joke of being a ginger means you have red hair. I don't. Oh, poor Dean, you're adorable. But we ended up running together for like 5, 6, 7 miles, and then this was his second marathon of the day because he ran to the start line.
Technically fourth in a week.
And technically fourth in less than a week.
Less than a week.
Double Boston
on Monday.
Yeah. So, bye, John. Good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by the chat room. So Dean would stop at all the aid stations, I'm assuming to kind of take a little walking break, but then he would walk through, get the water, get the food, and then continue running. I would do the same thing. It's like when you get to an aid station at an ultra, you don't run through the aid station unless you're winning. You get to the aid station, you walk through the aid station, and you keep running. So I would pass him at these aid stations, and he would run back up to me and like start chatting and stuff. And it's like, this is kind of cool because everyone at the marathon is, hey, Dean, take a photo with me, that kind of stuff. And he's running with me because he likes my shirt, which said Train Race Beer, and he likes the fact that I hold a GoPro. And I kept trying to remind him that I'd met him maybe 6 or 7 times over the last couple of years, and I introduced him at this conference and all this stuff, and he's like, oh yeah, you're that guy that did that thing. And I'm like, yeah, I'm also the guy you talked to 3 miles ago. I don't know if you remember.
I can't wait till you see him the next time.
I can't wait to see him. Yeah, I can't
wait
to see him.
You're going to have to pull out the GoPro footage. Be like, remember?
Yeah. And he's like, oh, and I told him about Ginger Runner Live. And he's like, that sounds amazing. I'd love to come on the show. I was like, I would love to have you. And he goes, yeah, just give me a call. And he never gave me his number. I should have asked. Like, hey, can I? But you don't want to be running a marathon and be like, well,
can I get your number?
Can I get your number? Dean Karnazes? No? Okay. Well, have a good race, bro. Ginger. It's a ginger runner. So that actually helped distract me for a lot of the early race. And then you get to Hurricane Point, which is a 2-mile uphill. You get over that and you see the Bixby Bridge, which is the world-famous picturesque bridge right in the middle of Big Sur. And then you keep going, you just keep pushing, and it's the last half of the marathon, which is the hardest because it's just rolling hills, constantly rolling hills. If you're not going up, you're going down. If you're not going down, you're going up.
People always think it's the Hurricane Point that's the hardest point or hardest part of the marathon.
Which finishes pretty much at 13.1.
13.1.
Yeah.
But it's those rollers at the end. They're deceiving.
They take their toll.
Disgusting.
And there's one hill in the last 3/4 of a mile that is just, it's short, but it's big and like steep. And that's where I met Kim, was at the top of that hill and ran you in because I wasn't about to run back down and turn around. So, end of the story. My race experience was great, super positive. I started getting a little bit sore towards the end of the race, knees, and I'm dealing with this hamstring sciatic issue. I don't know what it is. I'm going to get it looked at this week because now I have a nice big long break before my next race, which is technically San Francisco. I am signed up to do the Western States training camp at the end of the month, but depending on how this injury heals, hopefully it's not something that takes me out of training, but we'll see. So that was just kind of acting up. It wasn't hindering me in it or anything, but I was kind of keeping like a moderate pace all day. I wasn't pushing it. I wanted to at least keep my heart rate at a good level, and I wanted to kind of push the hills and enjoy the downhills and not really. I wasn't going for a PR. Is what I guess was what I'm trying to say. I didn't get a PR, but I got a course PR by 20 minutes. The last time I ran this course, I got 4:07, which was a fine time.
It's a great time.
It's a great time. This time I wasn't even expecting this, but I got a 3:48, which is rad. I'm super stoked because it put me at 61st place in, I think, my age group, which I'm out of like 2,000 people or something, which I'm really, really excited about. Or maybe that's 61st. That wasn't 61st. Male. It was like top couple hundred male or something, which is, I'm super happy about it. Whatever the placing was, I'm really, really happy. But what I'm really stoked about is that I wasn't really trying hard to get a PR. Obviously, when you run a marathon, you try because you need to finish.
Wait a second, Dick.
But, wait a second, Dick?
I wasn't even trying. It just happened naturally.
What's a second, Dick? Wait a second, Dick.
There was a comment.
There was a comment. Okay, well, didn't hear it. I was definitely trying, but I wasn't really going for a PR. I told you before the race, I just wanted like to break 4 hours.
I feel like this course is like, if you're going for a PR, like I just feel like not many people are going for a PR on this course.
I think my marathon PR is 3:44 or 3:42, which was accidental as well. I was pushing it, but I felt really sick that day.
That's right.
I just haven't really gone for a marathon PR. So this was so close to being able to be a marathon PR. I'm like, oh man, give me a flat course. Let's do this.
I can't wait to see how you do on like a moderate to easy marathon
course. San Francisco will not be it.
You never know.
I kind of know. San Francisco is just tough. It gets, those downhills at the end are hard.
They're very hard. But
so we'll see.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Regardless, I also earned the shit out of this medal. I'm really, really happy. So I'll wear it. Yay.
That's
great.
My medal.
Sorry, it is your medal. Cheers.
We both Congratulations. You did awesome.
You did too.
I feel like the best part of the whole thing is getting to the finish line and finding out that everybody you're running with or there with had a great day.
The whole group.
Like everybody in the group had a great day.
Colin and Kristen, that was their first road race in a very long time. Colin's first race in, I think, a year almost.
That was Dave's first road race.
Dave's first road race in a long time. 2 years. So Dave did I don't want to just start saying people's times because sometimes people are a little bit more bashful about it. So
it's like asking somebody their weight.
It is. It is. Asking someone what their time was for a certain race. We talked about this. Is like asking what their weight is. If they're if you really care that much.
Go look it up.
Go look it up. It's all public online. Yeah. It is public knowledge. don't ask them. So Dave did amazingly well. I'm going to say that because he fucking did. Colin and Kristen blew my mind. They were just like strolling.
Out for a casual run?
Casual. Let's just say all three of those people beat both of us.
Yeah.
And they just did entirely too well. I don't want to say entirely too well. That's not how I meant that sentence to come out. They did amazingly well. So good for them. And everyone that we ran into that we knew also had a great time. It was awesome. If you guys have any sort of destination races or are planning to do destination races, you got to add Big Sur to the list.
I highly recommend finding out when registration opens and setting your alarm early.
It sold out in 24 minutes this year. 24 minutes. It opens at 7 a.m. and it sold out in 24 minutes. In fact, it will sell out in, I'm guessing, 10 minutes this year.
I registered, passed my laptop to Ethan to register, and I think there was 1,000 people that had registered. Almost 1,000 because our numbers are that far apart in between him and I. Within minutes.
Let's catch up in the chat room here. What do you guys do to recover right after a marathon? Hot tub, yoga? No. I think that also depends on the person. We jumped in the ocean.
We kind of ice lower extremities in the ocean.
Yeah. They just happen to be there. If you finish a marathon and live in the Midwest, I can't imagine you want to fly out to the ocean and dip in the ocean. Ice bath is essentially what we did.
That is kind of like my go-to for after longest. I mean, I did an ice bath after my 20-miler last week.
Yeah, I agree. We have a physical therapist your physical or massage therapist that you've gone to has also told me that it really depends. Like some people do hot tubs, so it really depends on your relaxation level. All you really want to do is let those muscles relax, right? And I don't think I do the proper recovery routine diet-wise, because when you finish a big race, you should just stick with proper nutrition, proper nutritious food, vegetables, things that are going to help you take out inflammation and process through your body and give you the nutrients that you just devoured in your body. So you should be eating tons of vegetables, tons of fruits, keep things super natural, super clean. I tend to go the route of, where the fuck's the pizza?
Where's the beer?
Where's the beer?
Give me a cookie.
Give me a cookie.
Where's the cake?
I earned this today, so I have the right to do it.
We did do our recovery drinks right after. We did do our recovery powders right after.
Yeah, I like to do recovery. I think you do recovery.
I did recovery as well.
Recovery. That's just to replenish a lot of the things that you lost pretty much immediately. You got to do that within 30 to 45 minutes after a race, I believe.
And tons of water.
Yeah, lots of water. We were actually lacking on that too today. And we've been sitting in a car all day, which is probably the worst thing to do. We did get out
for a few miles,
I think we did about 4 miles just walking around, hiking through some of the areas up there, which is just beautiful. And I think that's important. I think active recovery is more important than anything to getting unsore. That's my opinion. Even though your legs are totally stiff today, like just getting out and moving is only going to help.
They start to feel better, yeah.
Yeah, because they would be worse even 2 days out. So if you don't do anything the next day after a race, 2 days after a race, they're going to be worse. They're going to be super sore, super stiff.
Yeah.
So get out there and be active. Raul says, Leona Divide was gorgeous this weekend. Great course. I totally agree. Kira puts on an amazing race. It's a new course this year. I believe they actually reduced some of the elevation in the 50 and 50K course, which is great because it was hot last year and some of those climbs were awful. So if you did run, congratulations to you.
Raul also slept in and started 45 minutes late.
That sounds like Dave. Actually, our good friend Dave Daly, who ran Big Sur, did a very similar thing at the Ray Miller race last year, which is actually the first time I met him. Ponytail guy for president. We got to tell him. We're going to go down to the lobby and tell him someone wanted to vote you for president. I wear a GoPro on my head strap, says John. Yeah, as far as filming with a GoPro, I use the extendable pole. The reason I don't use the head gear piece is because it's a little too shaky for me. It bounces, and I see people wear the chest thing. It's a little bit of the similar problem. My goal is to try to get as smooth footage out of the GoPro as possible because there's no image stabilization. So a head piece and the chest mount can be a little bumpy. Impressive to PR at Big Sur, absolutely. I would say it's very unlikely And if you do PR at Big Sur, I would recommend going and finding a flat marathon to really rip apart Kim.
Mm-hmm. Go Eater says the Malibu Marathon is the Southern California version.
Yeah, we talked about that. We both ran the Malibu half, which is the second half of the Malibu.
I don't know if was that the inaugural year or the second year? It was when it was still very young.
I think it was the second. I think it was the second year.
Horrible experience.
Horrible experience. Both of us had terrible experiences that day. Just awful. We were both very new.
I think that was my second half marathon ever.
That was my second half marathon ever. I had run 2 marathons, I believe, at that point, but 2 or 3. But it was my second half marathon. I've learned so much since then, but man, that was just a miserable day. I did the first 20 of Utah Valley a number of years ago, pacing my girlfriend. That course beat my quads up. Good luck to you, Raul. Utah Valley Marathon, I'm guessing. The first 20, or is it an ultra? Raul says, Go Eaters. I'm sure it will be physically tough. I need to work on my downhill running anyway, so this could be it. As far as downhill running and uphill running, I totally agree. Downhill running takes just as big a toll on your body as uphill running.
I was dreading the downhills more than the uphills in the last third of the race yesterday.
Go Eater says, I had to get beer in a special bar before the Utah Valley Marathon the night before the race. I don't think beer and altitude mix well. Be careful about that. Yeah, there's actually, it requires less alcohol to actually get you drunk at altitude. It's awesome. Ethan, you should work on conquering the beer mile. The record is 4:57, which was just set.
I heard
just read about that this weekend. The beer mile was, the new record was just set by a Canadian, I believe, and unbelievable time. I don't know if I'll ever do the beer mile because I love beer too much to vomit it
to want to hate it.
Yeah. I'd rather keep it inside and enjoyed rather than out on the sidewalk.
There's no way I could do it. I wouldn't do it.
You would. It's just,
I wouldn't do it.
You're just
not interested.
You're doing something with the sole purpose of puking.
Yeah.
Or at least riding that knife's edge of puking. Our friend Jimmy Dean Freeman also did a race.
Oh.
Not a race, but it's an unsanctioned event where he eats Krispy Kreme donuts. I think a dozen. You have to get a dozen down, but there's this valley where it's like 200 feet straight down, 200 feet straight back up. So you start at one end, you eat a donut, you run to the other side, you eat a donut, you run to the other side, you eat a donut. Would you get a whiff of my burp?
No, I just got the image of the photo he posted from that day.
Oh my God, I would never do that.
Let's just say it did not end well.
It did not.
Or it did. I don't know. I mean, Go Eater says Ginger on St. George and see what he can do.
Okay.
Yes.
St. George is on my list of marathons to run for BQ, for Boston qualifier. The thing is that there is such a net downhill on that course. You are going to beat up your quads. That is a net downhill Boston qualifying course. And if I were to qualify for Boston, it would probably be at St. George. You're also dealing with a bit of altitude. I believe the race start is at 4,000 or 5,000 feet, which is fine because I run most of my trails at 3,000 feet, and then there's tons in the San Gabriel Mountains where I run as well, which go up to 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 feet. So if I get the training in up there, it should be fine. But you're doing a lot of your racing for hours at altitude. So that's the only downside. But my friend Shea Carl did I think he did the full marathon. He did his full marathon PR there. He shaved off 40 minutes.
That's right.
40 minutes off of his race. I don't think he BQ'd, but he got very close. And I'm like, if I train hard enough, I might be able to do it at
I agree.
George.
I think that'd be.
But then again, you also have that thing of like, did I cheat? Because I found a course that is net downhill as opposed to something like CIM, which is flat. I don't know. See that.
Somebody's asking, Mike MC is asking, what shoes did you both wear? Ethan will reveal in some future review, but it's Kim's time to share.
I'll reveal tonight. I have no problem talking about it because this is kind of the race cap video. I ran in ultras, which I cannot believe I did. Based off of my experience in earlier ultras, including the Lone Peak 1.5, the Torrens, and the Torren 1.5s, I don't know why those were the shoes I started with for the ultras, because I don't think they're great examples of what ultra is creating. The 1, 2, or the 1 squared is what they are calling it, but the way it looks is the 1 with the number 2. I ran on the 1 squared, and it was awesome. Totally awesome. It's a racing flat, super flexible, feels like a slipper, has enough midsole material that is super cushy. It feels like a really soft, wide toe box Kinvara. It's just a great shoe. Very little outsole material, so you're really running on the EVA. So wear and tear could be an issue. I've already noticed that a bit in the shoe, but it held up great. The upper super comfortable, 0 problems. It was between that or the Ultra Paradigm, which is their version of a Hoka for the road. I couldn't have chosen a better shoe. I just had a great time in it.
I ran in the Newton Energy NRs, which I was a little surprised by my choice. I've been running in Newton for a number of years. I usually choose the distance model for my races. I've just been doing my long runs in the Energy NRs, switching between those and the Pearl Izumi Road N2s, and I just felt my worry that I was going to be out there for a really long time. The Newton Energy NRs just have that cushioning, and they just are comfortable over a long period of time. I really like them, so that's what I went with. No problems. Felt great.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Energy NRs as well. My review is super positive for that shoe. I think it's one of Newton's best in the last 2 years. I'm running in the new Distance 3 and Gravity 3. You have a pair.
I have a pair of the Distance 3. I just felt like they weren't the right shoe for this particular race for me.
Yeah, I mean, when you deal with Newtons, you deal with the lug system. If you're rotating through shoes too often and your feet are not used to that lug system, it'll wear on you later in the race. But if you are running in those Newtons consistently, you're gonna fly.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just haven't really worked with that. The lug system is so pronounced in those shoes that you haven't worked with it.
They're a lot more aggressive compared to the Energy NRs, and I've only had my distance for 2 or 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So that is our race experience from Big Sur. It is absolutely a gorgeous, gorgeous road marathon. You can't beat it. I would love to show you guys footage, but like I said, we were on the road all day, and I wasn't able to edit together some footage. We looked a little bit at some of it last night, and it's, I mean,
beautiful.
It's beautiful. And I'm not saying, hey, my photography is fantastic.
It's
just where you are, you're surrounded by beauty. I did my best to try to capture it with the GoPro. You're never going to do it justice unless you're out there with like a big camera rig system, which I'm not going to do. I tried to capture it as best as possible. Most of the parts that somehow took my breath away, I tried to get. And I will be editing that together, creating the music and doing all that this week. Hopefully get it up Friday. Because I like to post my videos Mondays and Fridays. Mondays is this show, obviously. Fridays is either the review or the race recap. Hopefully it'll be Friday. I think we should be fine with Friday. As long as I can get the music done. Usually it's the music that takes the longest because I have to be inspired. I have to be creative and inspired. So if you guys ran a race this last weekend, I know that we had someone that said they ran Leona Divide. Congratulations. Tough race. So congratulations to you. If you ran a 5K or a 10K, we had someone run the 8K earlier. Congratulations to you. Rock that medal. Wear it when you go to bed. Put it around your neck and just wear it when you sleep. You deserve it. You earned it. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm sorry, I keep burping. I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry. I hope you guys are enjoying the beers, and I hope you guys are getting out there, racing hard and training hard and partying the hardest. Any parting words, Ben? Anything you want to talk about?
No, I mean, I just...
Oh, we should do some segments. I forgot. I've got a couple segments.
Segments.
Runner's rant. I have a
Ooh, I have one too.
Okay, good. Inspired from Big Sur?
No, inspired from my 20-miler last week.
Perfect. I don't know why I'm trying to get rid of you guys so soon. We've still got some segments. Let's do Runner's rant. Runner's rant. I still love it.
I can't watch it and not laugh.
It's funny, and we can't even hear the audio on our end. I just love it. You want to start? You want to start?
I'll start. I already told you about this. I usually
Tell them. They don't know.
I usually do my long runs in Vancouver, somewhere along the waterfront. And last weekend, the weather was not great, so the seawall was not busy. I was running on a chunk of seawall that was about 12 feet across, and I always hug the right-hand side, as one should, to allow others to pass. I was running along, kind of just minding my own business, and all of a sudden I could hear coming up behind me. And this guy ran by me super fast, but so close to me that his elbow actually knocked my elbow as he ran by me. There was no need.
There's no need. Don't touch.
And he's all like, I'm, like, you're not winning anything today. Stop it. It's made me mad.
It does. I mean, that kind of stuff makes me mad, too.
It makes me mad because I was doing the right thing by pulling over and like running in the slow lane,
Yeah.
Like,
I forgot to actually say what Runner's Rant is. Runner's Rant is a segment where we talk about things that bug us. We put it out there in the open so people can learn from other people's mistakes. That's a good Runner's Rant. I hate that.
I was so mad that I actually tried to, I know this is going to sound awful, I tried to pull my phone out in time to actually take the guy's picture because I wanted to publicly run etiquette shame him. I thought it was awful.
Yeah, that's terrible. And if I was there with you and some guy ran by you and elbowed you or bumped your elbow, I would have chased him down and cut his dick off. That's how I roll. I'm sorry, that's
totally appropriate.
Someone else's runner's rant is, I hate it when people cut my dick off
while I'm running.
Okay, so my runner's rant dealt with this weekend's race. As I mentioned, the first 5 or 6 miles of this race are through these peaceful woods, these beautiful, lush redwood forests that you're just running through. And you know what? Take your headphones out, turn your music off, and just take it all in. Or, unless you're these two, oh my God, I love this. This is so beautiful out here. Those kind of girls running with their cell phone blasting Avril Lavigne out for the world to hear.
On their speaker?
Their speaker was turned on speaker, and they were playing the worst music, the worst pop shit tunes, just blasting it. And they're both just running like, just loving it. Every time they would pass somebody, the person would be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, are you really running with your music blasting out loud? It's one thing if you're running with headphones in. I get it. Maybe you want to zone out. They even mentioned in this race, not only in the literature they send you before you race, in the emails they send you before the race, but at the race start, the guy gets on the mic and says, take your headphones out. Enjoy the sounds of the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy the conversations with the people around you. Enjoy the sounds of footsteps running down the road. Then enjoy the sound of the ocean as you run by it for 20 miles. These two girls were listening to
they brought their boombox.
Pop Queens and diva songs for, I can only imagine, 26.2 miles. I kept busting past them. Like every time there was a downhill, I just would run by them. And then they would purposefully, it felt like purposefully, catch me and then cut me off and just kind of like, there was a point where I just couldn't handle it anymore. I just kept running. I never did it.
You just smacked their phone out of their hand?
No, I cut their dick off.
Oh. What kind of girls are we talking about?
Oh. Oh no. No, I got to a point when I didn't see them or hear them anymore.
That's the worst, and it's disruptive to everybody around them.
Don't run with your music out loud. Why do I even have to say that? I thought that's runner common knowledge. I thought that is runner rule number 1. Don't run with outward music. That's horrible sentence structure, whatever. So that is my runner's rant. That was your runner's rant.
Yes.
Both pretty good this week. Let's see what else we got. Runspiration.
What's Runspiration?
Yeah, Runspiration. I do have an inspirational story. So each week, well, not each week. The past 2 weeks, I actually haven't done a Runspiration, but I have asked in the past for you guys to send me your most inspirational running stories. Tell me how you got into running. Maybe you got into running and then you had to leave it for a while and then you came back. I love to hear these stories. They tend to be extremely inspirational. So I'd like to share these stories with you guys. If you would like to submit your own story, just go to gingerrunner.com/contact and you can submit your story there. So tonight's story comes from Chris Bull, a long-time Ginger Runner fan. I am 39. At 21, I found out I had Crohn's disease. I had up to that point been a cyclist racing mountain bike races, etc. After about 5 years of being really sick in and out of the hospital all the time, multiple surgeries, I found doctors that got it under control. I then started doing 100-mile-plus bike events, so ultra-cycling events, which are tough and brutal. About a year ago, my mother, who I hiked with and did Mount Whitney with, found out she had pancreatic cancer and passed away a few months later. I needed something to get my mind off of it, and I started running. I did my first half about 4 months later. I was hooked on running, and after that ran a 2:05. So now I'm doing my first marathon this May in her honor, and we'll have 4 fulls and 4 halves planned so far this year with hopes of it all going well. Next year, I'm going to try 50K and start trail running. I love your YouTube live shows, and I have learned a lot. Keep up the good work. Big fan from Loveland, Colorado. You rock. Thank you, Chris. Dealing with both personal and family struggles can take a lot out of you. Mm-hmm. And to hear stories like this is awesome. To know that you can come back from something like that, be inspired by something like that, and find strength within yourself to do some pretty incredible things is great for all of us to hear. So I wish you much luck. I believe you sent that email to me quite a while ago, a couple of weeks ago, at least a couple shows ago. So I hope your marathon, if it has not happened yet, goes well. If it has already happened, I hope it went well. And keep me posted on the 50K. It's definitely an interesting step to go from a marathon to a trail 50K. It's mind-blowing what you are capable of doing. You'll be surprised what your body can do. So congratulations to you on completing that if you have, or good luck to you if you are doing it soon. So I love that. I love inspiration. So if you guys have a story of yourself that might be inspiring to others, please send it to the Ginger Runners. Go to gingerrunner.com/contact. Let me know. I think that's great. I think it's pretty good.
Love it.
Stick around, guys. We're going to answer a couple questions in the post show. We don't have much time because we have to try to get food inside of us. We haven't eaten all day. We ate a sandwich, half a sandwich, hours ago, and some saltwater taffy. That's not enough. So stick around for the post show. If you are watching, we will answer some of your questions in the chat room. In the meanwhile,
oh,
what?
Chris says this Sunday I run it.
Oh my God, Chris, that couldn't have been timed better. Kick ass.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, that's awesome, Chris. That's fantastic. Kick ass in your marathon this weekend. Holy shit, that's rad. I love that the timing worked out for that.
Yeah.
Great story, buddy. Can't wait to talk about it next Monday. You'll have to send me an email or jump in the chat room next Monday and we'll talk about it. Okay, so I hope you guys are getting out there training hard, racing harder, and partying hardest. I know we are.
Oh, you're ahead of me.
I am. I'm done with this one. There's only one left. We're fucked as far as beer is concerned. We don't have much. We'll have to share it.
No.
Oh, okay, I'll drink it. This has been great. I appreciate you guys tuning in 2 hours late and dealing with the Wi-Fi and the sound issues. I hope it turned out okay. I hope we don't sound like electronic robots too much, because I really want to turn this into a podcast, and the audio issues drive me crazy. So I hope that the audio is okay. You guys are fantastic. Don't forget, tune in every single Monday live at 6 p.m. Pacific, unless, of course, I tweet out earlier in the day that it will be moved 2 hours, and reviews of shoes and or race videos every single Thursday or Friday. You guys are fantastic. Subscribe, youtube.com/gingerrunner. We'll see you guys next week, unless you want to stick around for the post show. We'll answer your questions there. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Raul says, I ran Leona without music. It's not hard. That's because my thoughts aren't boring. I love that. Yeah, I always have the headphones in, but in every race in the last year, I run with headphones, but don't listen to music. Even, it doesn't matter if I'm running out there for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours. I just don't listen to music. Even in Cuyamaca 100K, I had the headphones in the whole race, but I don't think I listened to music. And if I did, I turned it off pretty quickly. I couldn't really handle it. I think it's just a safety net now. I don't really know. I even made a playlist for this race. I'm like, oh, this is a great playlist. Didn't use it. Audio was good, says Mike. That's good. It was, how long was it digital? Because you guys mentioned it sounded like we were robots. How long did that last? Because that drives me crazy. I need to get it figured out. So there's a couple things that I need to have a decent Wi-Fi signal. We figured that out early on.
Mm-hmm.
I can't use this crappy piece of headphones for the mic.
Hey.
Sorry, it's your metal. We can use these for earphones, but not for the microphone. So So that's what these are not and good for.
I think it's probably better with your camera with a mic on it, too,
yeah,
which we don't have.
And then, of course, I forgot the actual webcam that has better video quality, so the video is probably also pretty shitty because it's just my laptop camera. Keith says, awesome show, Ethan and Kim. Thanks for the stories and rants. I laugh every time I see the Runners Rant video as well. It's great. Oh, I totally forgot to show this. This is my favorite segment that we just don't do because Chris is busy moving.
Just a tip
with Chris Fargo.
That's me!
I love that. That is by far my favorite segment. Chris has just been super swamped with moving from Colorado to Flagstaff. Every Monday he seems to have some sort of moving-related thing. I believe this week he probably could have jumped in, but we'll probably get him in the next couple of weeks. I want him to just film these just the tips on his iPhone or something and send them to me, and I can just post those too, because I know you guys love Chris. Chris is rad. And I want to talk to him more about his race too, his Lake Sonoma race. Michael says it was only a few seconds at a time, the audio. The whole time, the whole show, or before we switched headphones? Joe says good overall. Chris says not long. It was on and off. Kim, any desires to do an ultra?
Funny you ask.
Funny you ask.
I do have my sights set on doing a 50K by the end of the year. I haven't registered.
You haven't registered. They haven't. There is one that you're looking at, but they haven't posted the website to it. No registration. The timing works out for both of us. I desperately want to be there.
The one I originally had my sights set on, Ethan has a race that weekend as well. I would really like him to be at the race that I do. So
yeah.
The second option actually looks like a better option.
Yeah.
For different reasons, but so I do have my eyes set on a 50K. Yeah, hopefully by the end of this year. Mm-hmm.
She'll physically be able to do it, no problem. Based off of the fact that yesterday she went into a race with moderate training. You were more trained than you have been in the past, but really nowhere near the marathon training schedule that you will want to go into a marathon.
Right.
And you still managed to PR and do what you did yesterday. So with that in mind, by the end of the year, I'm like, oh yeah, 50K, no problem. We just need to get you out on the trails and get more elevation. And that's just going to happen because you live in Vancouver. You have access to such awesome trails.
And we have a trail run in August up there.
Yeah,
so.
we're doing the Squamish. 50-50, a Squamish 23K. It's going to be rad. It was going on throughout the whole show. Even now, I think it's due to your internet, not due to the mic. Shit.
That's a bummer.
Shit, that is a bummer. I hate that. So sorry, guys. I do want to turn the show into a podcast because running with podcasts is, I know a lot of people love doing it. There's so little that I can do on my end technically to make sure that the audio is spot on every single week. It's like I can either do audio or video, not really both. Like that, like people who do podcasts, people who do running podcasts, they don't broadcast the video side of it. They just kind of record the audio. Right. And some people who might, like I might be able to do the audio version here and then record video and do like a live stream that way. But the problem is I can't bring in video guests, and a large part of what I want to do with Ginger Runner Live is be able to bring people in from around the country. You know, talking to ultra runners is my passion. I love doing it, and marathon runners and stuff. But not all of them live in Los Angeles, so not all of them I can ask to come over to my garage and film with me. It's just not going to happen. So being able to do it remotely is the real benefit to doing what this is.
So somebody's saying audio is fine on my end, and then video was touch and go.
Video I wasn't worried about. Video I knew would go in and out because of the Wi-Fi signal. Because we're not hardwired in. This hotel does not have hardwire. I'll have to go back and listen. When I release these as podcasts, basically what ends up happening is the videos that get uploaded to YouTube, I have to re-download, convert that to an audio file, then re-upload as a podcast. So what I'll do is I'll record an intro and outro to each of the episodes and just say, you know, I apologize that some of the audio in this episode blows because we were in a hotel in Salt Lake, California, and the Wi-Fi sucked balls. So that's basically what happens. Overdone and not compatible, says Joskin. Hold on. What is he talking about? Not as bad as an old Kung Fu movie. You did not dishonor the show. That's good. Maybe you can record the audio in the background during the live stream. Okay. Yes. That's what I was going to say. That is a great idea. However, if I bring live video stream in from someone else, that audio can't be channeled two ways. So I can't stream it into the live stream and out to an external source. Those of you who are technically savvy might understand what I'm talking about. That is the problem. I've been racking my brain trying to figure out the best way to do this. I know it is possible. I can't afford a bunch of the audio and video equipment that really would make it possible. So that's the problem. Over to the non-compatible. I don't get what Joe was talking about.
I don't either.
Russell Anderson. Ethan, don't worry about it, man. We know you're working the best with what you've got. Great work. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. The thing is I want it to be the best. I don't want it to just be, oh, it's okay because we understand what you're working with. It's like, I want this to be the best show possible. I want it to be live. I want to be able to bring in live video streams from people around the country, and I want the audio to be crisp and clear for a podcast version. Record the audio separately onto a digital recorder. Again, how do I get the external audio from people who chime in live video-wise? Because I can't output, the audio output has to go into my ear so I can hear what is, you know what? Maybe I can. Did I just freak out a little bit and maybe figure it out? I'll have to yeah. Cue boring tech talk, 6 Landon. I agree.
I know, I'm glazed over.
Well, let's move on. I have to scroll back all through these. Awesome show, Ethan Kim. Thanks for the stories and rants. That was from Keith. Also totally stoked to get my cap sack. I thought I had missed out, but caught them on eBay last night. That's right, Michael. There are like maybe 5 cap sacks left. I haven't really been advertising them much because I have been traveling so much that anytime, including yourself, anytime a cap sack is ordered, I have to run home and pop it into a bag and send it. And there was a week when I was like, I'm going to be out of town this whole week. And of course, that's the week that people ordered them. So I had to wait a good 7 days before I could even send them. If you would like to buy a cap sack, there's only a handful left. Just go to ebay.com and search for the term train raised beer, and you'll find them. They'll just pop up. There's only a couple left. Teal and white, I believe, are the ones that are left. What GoPro stick do you use? Says Chris. Where is it? I actually have a couple. Because it depends. That's not it. Did I put it in here? I might not have put it in here. It depends on the race. And Kim can testify that last night, or I'm sorry, 2 nights ago, I was a mess trying to figure out what to
You're going between both of them. Can I interrupt the show to give somebody a shout out?
This is our show.
I want to give my mom a shout out because she just finished her first boot camp session of the year.
Way to go, Pat.
And
nice.
I think she's probably watching.
Kim's mom is pretty badass.
I'm super proud of you, Mom.
Rocking the boot camp.
Yeah.
Doing it hard. Okay. I actually don't know what company this is. This is
this one. Oh,
this
what
one.
Does that say?
That is not the right brand.
Okay.
So this is a modified GoPro extendable pole that I've been using. It extends out pretty far. The reason I use this is because my original iPole, which is a GoPro mounted iPole, sucked. You basically get it wet and it totally rusted. So what I did is I modified this one because the rubber handle was huge and heavy. Cut that off, added another rubber handle on from another GoPro handle. The metal, the hinge here is a ball hinge. So this joint can rotate in all sorts of directions, forward, back. I gotta loosen it up. It's also a little bit sandy and rusty. You can forward and back. You can make it basically whatever angle you want. The part where you actually attach the GoPro, it's all metal as opposed to plastic, which is good. The downside, it's heavy. When you're running with something, this is small enough where you can actually hold it in your hand. While I'm running, I have my handheld water bottle, and I hold this in my hand as well. It just becomes heavy because of all the metal joints and stuff like that. So that's one option. The other option, which they just sent me, these, which are rad, are the SP Gadget poles. So this is an SP Gadget pole, double or triple click, and extends out like that. This is what I've been running most of my trail races with because it is longer. It's about 1 foot long, and I can just stash it in my pack. I have modified this one as well to work with what I need. But this one I love. The SP Gadgets poll is rad, and I love them because they sent me that. They sent me a portable charger and a bunch of other stuff, and I can't wait to review it and share it because I know you guys have had that question for a long time. Were you going to say something? You looked at me like you had something to say. No, I guess not. All right. If you guys have any more questions, I'm going to refresh this because it hasn't updated.
And just to give myself a shameless plug, just in case any of you guys want to read my race reviews or see any of my stuff, you guys can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/milelonglegs or milelonglegs.com. You can find me on Twitter at milelong_legs. Instagram, Kimberly DT, KIMBERLEYDT.
Please punch me next time. If I'm doing the outro to the show and I have yet to tell people where to go to find you, you gotta punch me.
People, if they want to find me, they'll hunt me down.
I'll put your links in the description of the video, sure, but you gotta punch me. Come on. No, not there. You should know that you can interrupt me at any time. Here, let me do this. How about that? It might. I don't think it's covered up, but hey, her name is Kimberly Tashima. You can find her on
I like how it's sitting under you.
@milelong_legs. That's not but here. Okay, well here's mine. They both come up on that side. And I always forget to do these. I forget that I have them.
They're fancy.
Let's see. My girlfriend and I enjoyed the gorge behind the scenes. My mom walking her first half. She left us in stitches. My mom is rad. I love my mom. She, I hope to have her walk her first half soon. I'd like her to do it by the end of the year. It's not my choice, so I can be like, Mom, you need to do it. Whenever she's ready. I would like to share and film that experience because she's fucking inspirational and she doesn't know it. She doesn't think so. I'm like, Mom, you just started walking late in your years. She, maybe like 3 years ago, she started walking and has since done a 5K, multiple 5Ks, I think, a 10K. She's working up to the half marathon. And I'm like, please, we need to share your experience because what you are doing, most people at that age don't think they can do.
I think it's awesome to see our moms kind of getting out there and doing stuff.
Yes, I think it's awesome.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. And even though I know that because I've seen you. Yesterday is a great example. You're running the marathon, and you're passing people who are well into their 70s and 80s. An example?
Bob and Bev, my favorite couple. It's this really cute old couple that has run the Big Sur Marathon for 22 years in a row. And I saw them 2 years ago, and I was so excited when I saw Bob yesterday. But that's a great example. I think they're 73 and 75.
They're in their 70s, and they're running a marathon. They're running it. I mean, they're taking their sweet-ass time because it's a gorgeous marathon, but they're running it. Mm-hmm. And we've looked at their times to see how long they're running it, and they're running it together. 2 years ago, they ran it together, and they finished within a quarter of a second of each other. Yeah. And Bob let Bev cross first.
True gentleman.
Totally adorable. I hope that we can be running like that at that age. Bib for Mother's Day present. Actually, every Christmas I give my family some sort of healthy related gifts, and last year it was entrance to any race of their choice. I will say that none of them took me up on the offer. And it's not because they don't like to exercise, it's just that, it's one of those things that you forget about. It doesn't matter how many times I remind them, it's easy to forget. Easy to put off. Anything from range shadow running that range shadow running does Oregon 50Ks, but they also do Washington 50Ks. So just make sure that whichever one you're looking at is an Oregon-based thing. I know some other Washington ones, but Oregon-wise, I don't know. I mean, I know that there's tons of them.
Yeah, I mean, the one that I have my eye set on is in Oregon.
Yeah. Shout out to all the moms.
Yeah, moms.
80-year-old going to finish Leona Divide 50K this weekend. She does it every year. I think I remember her from last year, Raul. I love that.
That's impressive.
Yeah. I'm making my mom walk a half marathon this year. That's awesome, Michael. I might make my mom do it too.
I think.
What? I can't take a weekend and go walk my mom 13 miles.
I think strongly encouraging your mom and signing up with her will do it. It'll do it.
Yeah, I'd like to film my mom doing it. I think it'd be a good story to tell. So that was a good question. Sorry, this keeps scrolling down. Awesome. So I can take her to Machu Picchu next year. Oh, well, that's cool.
Ooh.
Machu Picchu's on my list of kind of global must-go-tos. We've always talked about that. I've seen those pictures. They're just insane. Doing the whole walk or the whole hike up.
Love it.
Would be insane. For a road marathon, what is your fuel plan like? You mentioned a handheld. Do you normally use the water from aid stations or a combination of that on your own? This is Martin Rosas, Jr. I think our plans are different. And you talk to any marathon runner, and I think their plans are totally different. I started doing gels, goos. I would use a goo every 4 miles, I believe, so every 25, 30 minutes. That worked fine. For the marathon distance, I think it really depends on how you're training. The more mileage I put in per week training for ultras, a marathon, I don't necessarily need as much fuel, but it really comes down to time. When I need to take in those calories and how many calories I need to take in. So yesterday, I kind of implemented, and this is the same thing I did with the LA Marathon, I implemented more of my nutrition that I would use in an ultra. I did Tailwind nutrition. Tailwind is a liquid-based, basically they said you a powder, you throw it in water, you do 2 scoops an hour for me, which is about 200 calories an hour. That's about what I need for a marathon. A lot of people will say you need 300 to 400 calories, and some people who have been using Vitargo say they can take in 600 calories, 800 calories an hour. I've never used Vitargo, so I don't have any idea what it does. But I used Tailwind. Basically, I would put 2 scoops in my water and would try to consume that over the course of an hour. I was not thirsty and taking in too much liquid because the bottle I was using was a 24 ounce as opposed to a 20 ounce, so I couldn't take in that much water over the course of an hour on a course that wasn't hot, and I wasn't sweating as much because I wasn't going at 90%. So my calories were off. So I ended up having to supplement with gels that I was also carrying with me, goos. I was using the salted caramel, which are great, and Pocket Fuel. So I was taking Pocket Fuel, the cold brew coffee shots, as well as Pocket Fuel vanilla haze.
Oh, so you did do a haze yesterday.
I did do a haze, yeah. It was supplementing. It was like 175 calories for a pouch. I took one of those, I think an hour, 1.5 or 2, and that was fine. I never felt, there was a time that I felt hungry, and that's usually what ends up happening when you go off of liquid nutrition for me, is that you just, like your stomach feels hungry for food. But you are getting enough calories, it's just that your stomach feels like it's just kind of empty because it's processing through the liquid nutrition so quickly. So you can supplement that with fruit. I took strawberries at mile 23. They have these fresh strawberries at 23?
Just past 23, yeah.
I took a bunch of strawberries. That's good because they're water-based fruit, so you get tons of water as well as some of the fiber from the fruit itself. And worked out fine. That's what I did yesterday. And for an ultra, it'll be the same. Ultra, much more diligent about calorie intake per hour with liquids for me.
My plan was a little bit different than your plan. I start with Roctine powder mixed into my water bottle. So I like to start with that. It's about 240 calories. And then I do Roctane gels. 1 gel every 40 minutes for me, while I actually kind of nurse my liquid Roctane.
Gel, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
It's about 100 calories.
But I also have had my Roctane with me as well.
Liquid Roctane.
Liquid Roctane.
Which is 200 calories per pouch?
240.
240?
Yeah.
So you take that one an hour? Hour and a half?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I consistently did 1 gel every 4 miles. Or 40 minutes, whatever came first. And then I have problems later on in races taking gels. I just don't want it. There's a point where I decide, like, my body just doesn't want it. So I actually brought extra powdered Roctane, and I did the liquid nutrition again, I think, at, well, maybe 17 or 18 I did that again. Worked out great for me. I mean, that's kind of what I'm, like, my thing is what works for me is not necessarily going to work for you or you. It's just what I've been doing consistently on every long run. I haven't had gastro issues. I haven't had deficiency issues. So.
Yeah, and what's working for me now may not work for me in a year, and I may change my strategy completely in a year. And I have been working a lot towards using less calories on most of my longer runs, or running at a heart rate that is lower than what I would normally use in a race situation, in order to try to trigger my body into burning more fat and using fat as fuel. So there's all these things that I'm right now in the transition stage of doing, where I don't, like some of my run, like any mile under 10, I won't take anything. Like there's no reason for me to take a gel. There's no reason for me to take water for the most part, unless it's really hot. I'll bring a bottle for safety.
Whereas I would.
Well, yeah, but then again, if you're acclimated to the heat, you'll probably also not take a bottle because you'll just know that you don't need it. So I'm in these weird phases of training right now where I'm not taking in nearly as much as I would have a year ago. So that has changed. Like a marathon a year ago, I would have been diligent about taking a shot or a goo every 30 minutes. I've just been like, every 20 or 30 minutes, I'm definitely taking a goo. Gotta do it, like clockwork on the button. And now I'm a little bit more like, kind of going by feel. Yeah, I should probably take another goo. Yeah, okay. Which isn't always the best.
I was just going to say, that's not always necessarily best for everyone.
No.
I know for me, if I did that and I waited till I felt like I needed it, it'd be too late.
And that's because I've become more confident in certain distances, eating a certain number of calories over the course of those distances.
Yeah.
But yesterday I was a little bit more cautious and took more tailwind than I thought I would need. Kind of stuck with that. It was fine.
Mike says that we should go enjoy beer, pizza, and hot tub.
I agree. Let's do that. We've got one beer, we've got food, and we have a hot tub which is open for another 40 minutes.
We actually have pizza.
We do actually have pizza left over from last night. It's really good. We're going to leave you guys. We appreciate you guys tuning in and sticking around. And we know that the show was delayed as well by 2 hours, which is great. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Really, really awesome. We'll see you guys next week on time at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard. Ginger Runner Live. Episode number 13 next week. Ooh.
Lucky number 13.
Oh, the rest of the 10, you owe me a pizza. All right. That's it, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Where can we find you?
On Facebook, facebook.com/milelonglegs. Twitter @milelong_legs. On my website, milelonglegs.com. And on Instagram @KimberlyDT, KimberleyDT.
She posts some damn good photos. Go check them out. And of course, you can find me on all the social networks at The Ginger Runner on Facebook, The Ginger Runner, YouTube, Ginger Runner, of course, Instagram @Ethan Newberry. I'm exhausted. I've been driving all day. You guys are radical. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.
Bye.